Ladies and gentlemen, direct from the valley.
You are now rocking with the best hoops and hip hop with Coach Carter on the White Label Radio Network.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Coach Carter, Hoops and Hip Hop Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Carter, a.k.a. Mello. And you know how we get down. We talk basketball, we talk hip hop, all of the above on the White Label Radio Network. And I'm here with a fellow trainer, developer. My man James Mayhew is in the building. What's up, James?
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. It's we connected via our AAU time at West Coast Elite, and we just been following. He works with Athletic Gains and does a lot of great things. So let's take it back a little bit. Where you from?
From the Valley, born and raised, Woodland Hills. So been here 28 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're from the Valley. So what high school did you go to?
El Camino, Real. High school. Yeah, back when we were winning city championships 10 years ago.
And did you hoop there?
Yeah, all 4 years.
All 4 years you played varsity basketball all 4 years?
No, we had a good program. I started first year freshman, second year JV, and then last 2 years varsity. So
okay,
been in every level as a player.
That's good. It says a lot about a player that can go through all the ranks, or that doesn't walk in to get things handed to him.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it helped you and shaped you who you are?
Oh yeah, it was the best experience from staying there, actually not transferring a couple times when I wanted to, and just sticking it out, because the guys that actually got me into coaching at a young age were the same coaches that I had at the school. So
you wanted to transfer. So you nowadays, as soon as something goes wrong, people hop on the transfer portal, whatever.
Yeah.
What was happening that made you want to transfer?
We had a lot of talented guys, and so I had a couple friends and old teammates at other schools that were basically telling me I have a lot more opportunity there. And my mom was actually the one that was just kind of saying, just stick it out and it'll be worth it, and you'll be better for it in the end, because at the end of the day, 0.1% of us are going to actually keep playing.
Yeah.
And so she was 100% right, because all those relationships that I kept from staying there were worth way more than putting up numbers at a worse school.
Yeah. So mom's always right.
Yeah. Moms are always right.
Mom is always right. So what year did you graduate?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah, graduated 2013.
Okay. And then did you play college ball?
No, I started training right when I finished school. Started coaching with one of my old coaches, the AAU team, and just got right into training right away.
Really? So did you actually try to play college ball, or you just knew that it was done as soon as you finished?
I was just kind of burnt out from basketball after the 4 years of going through it, being around a bunch of good players, but also just being like a bench guy. I was just done and ready to do something else. And I wanted to stay in sports and just start early.
And how did you get your first training client?
Through coaching with the AAU team. So yes. It's always, you want to be around a team so you can be around all the kids.
And did you go coach Parks and Rec or anything like that before, or did you just go straight into AAU?
Straight into AAU.
Okay.
Yeah, it was super lucky. My old coach Bruce Neal, probably know him. He was starting this team and just needed one assistant coach.
What was the name of the team?
Valley Oop.
Oh, Bruce. Okay, yes. My godson played for Bruce 5-6 years ago, whatever.
Yeah. It was. We had a ton of kids in the Valley 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Going real strong, and a lot of those kids ended up going to my old high school too, and then I ended up coaching them when I started coaching at the high school. So there was a couple groups of kids that I had coached from age 5 to all the way to 12th grade. So that was a pretty fun process.
That's dope. You see them grow up into young men and whatnot, and have a positive impact on that. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, being a coach. I mean, I'm a coach as well too, and it's dope to see, when they get a little older and they say, oh, coach, I remember you said this to me and now I'm using this in my life or whatever. So that's kind of cool to see.
I think it's so much more valuable than just teaching a guy a left hand layup or a step back or whatever. Like when you can get that same kid who's 5-6 years older, and now he's bringing up stuff that you helped him with in life, like you said, that's like what we're really doing this for. I feel like that's where you get like the most fulfillment from.
You should, at least. I mean, but now it's so lucrative that people are in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But I mean, with any industry, when there's a lot of money involved, you're going to have people that are in it just for that. So, you don't fault those people for that. I mean, they're running the business. So you coached AAU basketball, and then you went to high school basketball. Where did you coach at El Camino? Sorry?
Yeah. Was able to coach when I was like 19 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a gift and a curse, I think. Because I didn't start coaching until I was in my 40s. So it's a little different. I'm a little older. But I feel like having a young coach is a gift and a curse, because you're in touch with the kids, so you can talk the slang, you wear the gear, whatever. But then also, since you're young, they're aides, they don't look at you like a leader.
Exactly. It's so much harder. You have to work twice as hard to discipline the kids when you're the young coach.
Yeah.
And then when I feel like the older coach, you have to work twice as hard to be cool with the kids.
Exactly. Yep. That's where I'm at right now. It's like, and I catch myself all the time saying, back in my day. Yeah. And it's so cliche, but it's the truth on certain levels. But, kids don't want to hear that.
I even started saying it, and my day was like three days ago.
Yeah, right. So you coach freshmen there?
Yeah, I was coaching freshmen at El Camino for 3 or 4 years.
Okay, and then where did you go after that?
I started basically full time with Athletic Gains as soon as I had finished school, and so I basically took a step back from doing the high school stuff and just immerse myself in the sports performance training. Yeah. Learning a bunch from Travell Gaines, Jake, Corey, a couple other guys there. And just kind of went fully in with that. And that was like a great decision and a great just like change for me. Yeah. After being there for 3-4 years.
That's dope. So I don't think I actually said this at the beginning of the podcast, but James works at Athletic Games that handles a lot of the, athletes and NBA, WNBA, like high-level high school guys. How did you hook up with Athletic Games?
It's actually a good story. I had a professor in college. It was my last semester, and he basically was just telling me I needed to find a mentor because I had all the experience, but I just needed someone to like learn the game from. And so I was reading an article one day and heard about the gym. Pulled up to the gym, and the owner was right there in the parking lot. Just told him my life story pretty much, and he gave me an internship.
That's dope.
I started like a week later.
That's dope. So you actually went out and actually seized the moment and actually went out into the field and actually did it. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I love it. That's dope. And how long you been with Athletic Games?
5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, been with them for 5 years. Super blessed and just happy to be like a part of the whole thing. Especially just going through the ups and downs of building out gyms, growing the business, having trainers leave, COVID, and just like experiencing all that. I'm so happy and grateful to have like a good mentor and team around to like get through it. Yeah. Because you know how it is when you're doing your stuff solo.
It's tough.
It's all on you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need a different opinion, a different voice.
You need somebody to vent to sometimes, just to talk some crap to and say, hey man, you know about this, and you say, yeah man, and then you go back and you just vent and then go back to your thing. It's tough.
Totally.
For me, I talk to myself, but I'm an only child too, so I've been alone for a while, so I'm good to go. But definitely having a team is always a good thing. Who have you worked with it? And we're gonna run down some names or whatever. We'll talk about those players, but who have you worked with so far at Athletic Games? Just give me a few names that we would know.
Most I would say like most prominent clients would probably be Draymond Green, Candace Parker, Trae Young, DK Metcalf, DJ Reader, Taj Gibson.
Okay.
So a ton of NBA guys and also quite a few NFL guys too.
Okay. I had the biggest crush on Candace Parker ever. Like, you know, I'm married, she's married in a different universe. If I was sitting here and you said you're Candace Parker and we were single, I'd be like, hey, I'll be shooting my shot right now.
That's probably the most common thing I hear when people, like any client, or things I hear about client or people I work with. People are like, yo, what's up? How's Candace?
And it's funny because, you know, it just seems like her energy is just dope energy. I mean, of course, she's beautiful, whatever. But it seemed like her energy is good as well too. The way, you know, I see her interviews and whatnot, it seemed like that's a good vibe.
Yeah, she has 2 older brothers, and so it's like kicking it with one of the boys when you're with her, and like you can finish a workout and have a drink or watch a game.
That's dope.
And yeah, it's awesome.
That's dope. That's dope. So with Athletic Game, because I noticed that you work with Candace and Draymond Green and Amari Bailey, and you're kind of exclusive with those guys. With the company, do they kind of assign you that person when they walk in the door? They say, oh, I want a trainer, and say, oh, you're with James. And then do they continue to choose you, or do Athletic Games just say, this is your person, stay with them, or how does it work?
So Trevel's done a good job of building up the brand to where we'll get agents and players reaching out all the time to train. And he'll usually pair athletes with trainers that'll like match their like kind of specialty. So like most of our football guys will go with more of the football oriented trainers, and then I've been able to get a lot of the basketball guys just because that's like kind of been my niche since I started. And and then for a player, once you're kind of with the player, Trevel kind of steps back, and it's kind of on you to maintain that relationship. And I've just been lucky that people keep wanting to come back. Because you know how it is each summer, like these guys can go train wherever they want. So when they give you the call, it's just you're just happy to be a part of it, you know.
That's dope. And one of my favorite NBA players is Draymond Green. I retired from adult league, but I play my adult league like Draymond Green. I'm talking crap. I'm rebounding. I'm setting up my guy for a shot. I'm doing all that. So like he's my spirit animal when it comes to playing or whatever. And he gave you a dope compliment. I seen it on when he was talking about his trainer regimen and whatnot, and he mentioned you by name or whatever. How does it feel when you're kind of doing it? Because we don't really, at least I should say some of us don't do it for the accolades. We just do it to help the people. And when they come on national TV or interview and mention your name, how does that feel as a trainer and whatnot?
I think you made a great point. Is like we do it because we love the actual process of doing it. But then there's always like everyone appreciates the praise, and so like when someone sent me that clip, I probably watched it 15 times because it didn't feel real. And my favorite part about the clip also is just like the level of detail Draymond goes into when talking about our training regimen, which is like. He's just like one of the best people to be around, and he's so focused and on it. Like he's one of those guys that makes you a better trainer. So yeah, when I saw that, I was just like icing on the cake. Like I could probably just retire right now and be happy.
Did you see kind of an uptick in people requesting you based on the stuff you've done with Candace and Draymond and those guys? Have you seen like more people reaching out to you?
Yeah. Definitely, especially like the clips of Candace and I training at like the sand dunes. I always have people that ask about like coming to the dunes and working out. And then when like with the Draymond clip, a lot of kids, like high school kids, saw it and then they're reaching out. And that's always kind of just been how I always try to model my business, is like do a really good job with your top level guys, and then you'll keep getting lower level guys that want to come in.
Exactly. And then you also trained Amari Bailey. Did he come for you, or did he come to Athletic Games and then they just kind of paired you?
Yeah, he came to Athletic Games when he was in 8th grade and summer going into 9th grade. And I was just hanging out at the gym and when he came in, and I didn't even know who he was, and we worked out for a day or two. And then I kind of looked him up and I was like, oh, this has already been a good fit. And I think me not knowing who he was and just treating him really normal kind of like helped us build that relationship.
It's always dope, yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, for sure.
and then he trusted you so much to where I see you like courtside at games and whatnot. How is it? Because I've always said this in my Twitter rants or whatever. If a trainer's not going to see you play, how can he train you? Mm-hmm. Or if he's not looking at clips, he don't have to go to your game. But if he's not watching you play the game, how can he train you? And I see you at events with Amari and his family or whatever. How important is that for you to go to those things to see what's going on to better your craft?
I think half of it, because I prefer watching everything at home because you can rewind and get different angles and everything. So I don't really try to ask guys for tickets to anything, or like I try not to go to stuff all the time. But I think you should try to make it to at least one game a year just to show some support.
Yeah.
And then if the games are really local and close, like you should just go, and it's great to network. Great to talk to parents. For whatever like level of a person I'm training, mm-hmm. I'll go to a high school JV game and watch a kid just to talk to the parents and just show them that like I'm supporting them. So yeah, I think that's super important. And then also like actually watching what your guys do, so you can talk about it with them and say, hey, you know, when you close out and they're moving, you need to be quicker laterally.
Yeah.
That can build a lot of trust. You know, I think you can build a lot of trust when you can point something out on the film that you're going to work on in the training session.
Yeah.
And they know that you actually care.
We talked about off camera, so you're a high school coach. I'm a high school coach as well, too. And we talk about these entitled kids now that have these trainers that are selling them dreams. And when they come to us, they're mad because what they're doing doesn't apply to what is actually happening in real life in the game. But what you said to your testament is that you're actually looking at stuff in the game and saying, we're going to work on this today. So then, like you said, it gains trust because their mom and trainers, and coaches can see instant gratification and results from that. So that's dope. So you train all levels, so kids from young kids all the way up to pros?
Yeah, my youngest kid I work with is probably in 7th grade. And
really?
Then I love even working with just regular people that are older trying to get in shape.
Yeah.
Like my dad was my first ever client, and he used to be 300 pounds, and now he weighs like 180.
Oh, wow.
And in our first year of training, he lost 40 pounds.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I enjoy working with everyone because it's a whole, each hour is totally different.
Is it ever too young to train? What's the youngest has walked into the athletic games door?
We've had people that reach out that are really young.
Like what's really young?
I would say like under 10 years old. Because like for basketball, you can be working on your game, and you should be.
Yeah.
And with sports performance training, it's so specific, the stuff we're doing.
Uh-huh.
I've even told parents, you might be better off just putting your kid in like soccer, because he's going to get all these different movement skills. Mm. He's going to get cardio. And so I really don't work with kids younger than 6th or 7th grade.
Okay. Because then their bodies are still developing, and it's hard to keep their attention span too.
Yeah. And like the attention span, and also like with just like muscle development. Like when we're building strength, you're going to see that a ton from 9th to 12th grade. Yeah. It's almost like half of the work is us and half of the work is on the kid just getting older.
Yeah.
But
maturity.
Yeah. And like, so parents are like, oh, he's getting so many muscles. And you're like, he would have probably got those no matter what. But like with a 6th grader, like how am I going to really show improvement when they're so young?
Yeah.
You know?
So if I have a kid and I wasn't in this business and I came to you and my kid is 7 years old, 8 years old, you would tell me, don't worry about the sports performance, and you can work on skills. And then in the next 3 or 4 years, you can get into the sports performance, but work on the skill.
Yeah, I would say work on the skill and then play a second sport. I think that's like super underrated.
Is it really? It's a good. I see people all the time on social media saying, "Oh my God, you need to play 2 sports," and I'm on the fence about that.
I think up until 7th grade, I think.
Okay.
So say you were like, after 7, go 1.
Okay.
But like for me growing up, I played soccer from 3rd through 7th, and I didn't start basketball until 5th or 6th. And then from playing soccer, I was able to just pick up everything easy on basketball.
Because it's footwork and the conditioning. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, because I see high school people saying, oh, my God, high school, you should play 2 sports. And I'm like, if you're a high-level athlete, you have to pick one at some point.
Yeah.
And the earlier you pick it, the more elite you should be at it because you're putting all your time into that, especially a student athlete, because you got school as well too.
It's only so much time.
It's so much time, exactly. So when I see people say you need to, oh my God, you need to play 2 sports, I'm like, up until when? But you said 7th grade, that's perfect.
Yeah, I think, dude, you hit it right on the head because you need time for training, for basketball and skill.
Yeah.
You need time for school, practice, and just to be a kid.
Yeah.
And when you try to do the 2-sport thing in high school, you actually make the coaches on both teams not really like you because you're not ever available.
Especially if you're a star, right? Especially if you're a star guy, it's going to be tough because there's summer leagues that's happening and you're playing baseball or whatever. So, yeah.
And they're writing down your name with an asterisk next to it because they don't know if you're going to be there or not.
Exactly. So right now, so you're at Athletic Games, and so Draymond Green, Candace Parker, we've all saw some of the sand dune stuff. I just watched the video of the medicine ball about to hit the car and you chasing it down or whatever. And Trae Young as well too. Mm-hmm. And Amari Beatty, so high school. So I watched you kind of go through that process. What was the process like when he went from Sierra Canyon to UCLA and then UCLA to the NBA? Were you part of the decision making, or did they ask you like, what do you think? You know, it's like, I know it was a question about, is he a one and done guy? Is he should he go to UCLA? Was that, since you're kind of embedded in the family now, do you get included in some of those conversations?
Our relationship's a little different now, but when he was going from high school to college, I was definitely a little more like involved and just they were asking my advice more. And then from that jump from college to the NBA, I just wanted to kind of remove myself a little bit from the situation and not have my career like tied in and wrapped up with this guy's career.
Yeah. Why?
Just from like a lot of advice I had gotten from other people like in the industry
that's done it before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just didn't want to have my whole career wrapped up as like, oh, that's his guy.
Because other people may not want to come to you because you're quote unquote his guy.
Yeah. And so I kind of took a step back, and I wasn't really involved that much with the college to the pro decision.
Yeah.
I was lucky I was able to work with them during the pre-draft process and do all the training. But yeah, since like the high school, I just kind of realized like it's better to just take a step back because like, you know, it is your career's only be 5, 10, 15 years.
Yeah. I'll
probably still be coaching after that and training after that.
Yeah. Were you around during the time, because when he was at UCLA, were you still training him at that time as well too? So because they had their own strength and conditioning, and so was he still working with you at that time?
A little bit on and off, but you know how it is. They're so busy with all the team stuff.
Yeah. And
that was another thing that kind of, I was like, all right, let me take a step back, not really like hover around this whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was huge. And also last year was Juju Watkins last year at Sierra.
Yeah.
So I just kind of shifted my attention and focus more.
You train her too?
Yeah, I've been working with her since she was a junior.
Oh,
so,
wow. Okay.
Met her before through Travell Gaines, and then kind of got reconnected when she went to Sierra because I would always be there working out with the kids. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, you know, life always works out perfect. And I kind of just was like, all right, let me just pivot, focus on her. Because once they get to school at the university, they're so busy. So it's kind of the same situation with her now. Now that she's at USC, take a step back. And, you know, like if they call me or text me, I'll be there ready to go.
Of course.
But I just don't want to be the guy that's like chasing them around.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you exclusive with Athletic Games, or do you do your own thing as well too?
We're kind of all like independent contractors of Athletic Games. Yeah. So I mean, it's everything I try to tie Athletic Games back into, or tie my mentor back into and everything. But it's never a situation where are like the owners and be like, oh, what are you doing? Like he's very understanding, kind of.
Plus, you're a soldier in the Army, and you're going out there representing the brand. As long as you're representing the brand, even if you have a client that didn't come through the brand, people still assume, like me, looking at he's with the brand. So so you're going out there while he's at home eating dinner. You're out there representing the brand. So so you kind of want that as a brand owner. So and you said that you also so you currently coach right now, and you're at Buckley.
Yeah, at Buckley School in Sherman Oaks.
How long you been there?
It's my 3rd year, and
you like it?
I love it. I was.
Look at this guy. He said, "So I'm a freshman coach," and then we was just talking about trials and tribulations, and he says you loved it.
I love it because they let me do the strength and conditioning and
for the school.
Yeah, and so I've been able to bring in my guys that I've mentored. I've been able to put in positions and get strength conditioning jobs. And then also just kind of getting reconnected with coaching because I was out of high school coaching for a couple years. So that's been really fun because I like being like part of the team dynamic. And it's just a good environment to be around, you know?
That's dope. So you're able now to pay it forward now. So pretty much you're like saying you got some of the little homies now coming to come work with you or whatever.
Yeah.
And Buckley. And if people don't know, Buckley is not a poor school. It's not in the hood at all. It's a nice little private school. So they have funds to have a strength and conditioning program or whatever, which is dope. And so you coach the freshman team. This is your 3rd season. Mm-hmm. And how do you because we talked about this off camera, but let's talk about it on camera. How do you deal with, the entitlement of the kids that have trainers that come to your program and say, hey, I should be on the JV team or varsity team, or I should be starting? How do you deal with that?
Man, it's so funny. Like we were saying earlier, that dynamic, especially right now more than ever, that dynamic between trainers, players, and coaches is just like the worst it's ever been. And with the social media and all these videos, which half the videos aren't even showing you like what's fully going on.
Yeah.
It's just messing a lot of things up because you have, like you said, parents are spending money on training. The trainer wants to keep the clients, so he's not going to tell them like, hey, I don't think you have a good chance. Like he's going to keep pushing for training.
Yeah.
The kid's going to be getting his ego blown up. And then when they get to high school, and they realize like, oh, you should have probably worked on this a lot more, whatever the case is, then it goes back from the kid up to the parent, parents complaining to the coach, trainers telling the parent they're right because the parent's writing checks.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole weird circle and web. It's just...
Do you deal with that? Because, I mean, I've dealt with it, like I told you, I've dealt with it a lot this season, more so than any other season before. Do you deal with that stuff?
Yeah. I think any school you're gonna have 1 or 2 kids on each team that all think they should be on a higher team.
Yeah.
I've been lucky this year at least. A lot of the younger kids kind of understand like where they fit in the program. But yeah, I feel like you're always gonna have to deal with parents talking to you about stuff they don't know. At the end of the game, I was wondering why, like, the varsity coaches, you never see them at the end of the game. They kind of go out the back door or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, yo, why don't they come on? But I see why, because there's a parent like, hey, about playing time, or they want to talk to you about whatever. And I'm the freshman coach. Just imagine if you're the varsity coach at Sierra Canyon. I'm sure he gets it, tenfold. That's why you got to have those assistants kind of as a buffer. Yeah. I feel like the assistants are like a filter to the coach. Like, you might hear 10 things and maybe one of those will actually get through to get up, and that's just like the dynamic, because it's just a lot of people that are entitled, and then also people that just don't really know what they're talking about at the end of the day, and so that's where it can get frustrating.
But like you said, when you was younger, you had friends that were playing on other teams that said, hey man, you should come over here and do this or whatever. I think that parents and kids are also getting misinformation too, because just because your friend Johnny is over at Reseda hooping, it's not the same as being at Buckley or Sierra Canyon or whatever. It's a little different.
Yeah.
And you're looking at him like, and everybody is trying to run the race of somebody else. That's what social media is about. Social media, you see, oh my God, he has a nice house. I need to go buy me a nice house. Well, you can't afford a nice house. You need to work a little harder. But everybody's trying to not run their own race, and I think that's the biggest problem now with what's going on. So, are you looking to be a varsity head coach at some point?
No. I would. I'm totally fine coaching freshman JV. I really just like being a part of the program.
Yeah.
I've even been asked to be a varsity assistant a couple times, and I just like the consistent early schedule of the younger levels. And I mean, ideally, I'd be doing more strength and conditioning at like higher levels. But you know, it's also when you go beyond high school, now you're like worrying about like job security and where you're gonna live.
Yeah.
And like I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, so I'm not gonna ever coach in Kansas.
You don't want to go to like the middle of nowhere,
Never.
Midwest. I got you.
And like I love looking guys up, see like the route they took, and like
And it's always like South Dakota,
Yeah.
North Dakota, somewhere. Yeah.
yeah. And I just know myself, and I'm like a huge on quality of life. Like
Yeah.
I've put quality of life right up there with how much money you're making, because like you can be making a ton of money, but if your quality of life is horrible, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm really reluctant to even want to move up higher in terms of coaching with teams, just because of that fact. There's no job security, and
Well,
I feel like it's better to just build something for yourself
Yeah.
that you're actually in control of.
Would you do like, of course, if an NBA team came to you and said they wanted you a part of their organization, you would consider that?
Yeah, I've gotten offered from NBA teams before and turned it down.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Just value my clients out here more.
Because you work with a team, you're not available for your clients that you have.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I got offered by New York Knicks to be a strength and conditioning coach when they were looking at Brandon Boston in the draft, and because they knew I was like connected with him when he was in high school, and spoke briefly with one of the assistant GMs, and just like it took me maybe 3 to 5 seconds to decline it. And
Why so fast though? So my thought process: would you not want to take that gig and do it for a few years? Of course, still have your core clients because those are your guys or girls, and then build your name up to where now you can actually build your roster up to where you can go out and do your own thing, like a Chris Brickley or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I just valued the people that I was working with at that time more than that job. And then also, if you're in this like kind of lucky space of you're working with these people and you're at the school and everything's going smooth, like that job will always be there in the future. And the other thing was like, say you accept that job, you have a bad year or whatever, you get fired, then you come back and now you're starting from zero again.
Yeah. Plus, you're an LA guy going all the way across the country to New York. I'm sure like the quality of life you to start, because you're kind of entry level, it wouldn't be as good as you here in Southern California in Woodland Hills chilling.
Yeah. And then, there's always the argument of like, oh, you got to get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
I mean, Los Angeles is hard enough to make it already. So like really nothing's comfortable when you're running your own business and like building your career. So when people be like, oh, you just staying comfortable, it's like, I don't feel comfortable because I'm still pushing myself. And just like taking that long route, I feel like it's the way to go.
Is there a dream job that you would like? Is there some out there like, my God, if this school or this team called me, I'd jump in a heartbeat? Is there something like that?
Maybe to work with the Warriors, just to be a part of that organization and be a part of the culture and just like kind of be around them for a couple more years before the dynasty's over. But there's no other NBA team where I'm like really care about working for them.
Really?
Yeah, I think especially you get a little bit older and like now the guys are younger than you or the same age, so you don't really like look up to guys anymore.
Yeah.
And like maybe the Warriors, but even that say I did that and it was awesome for 3-4 years and then it's over, you know. So versus building something up and then looking back and be like, oh, look what I built for the last couple years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm the same way with you. I've applied for a few high school varsity jobs, just kind of put my name out there.
Yeah.
And I realized that in order for me to get where I need to go, I'm gonna have to go take a public school job.
Yeah.
You know,
it make horrible money on stipend.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's literally the worst. I probably make more freshman coaching than I do with them. You know, and then at least as a freshman coach, if I don't want to deal with a parent and it gets to the point to where it's too much, I pass them off to the varsity coach.
Yeah.
Or the director.
Yeah.
But if I'm the varsity coach, I'm gonna get all the stuff on a terrible stipend. And I interviewed for one job and I'm like, yo, well, can I use the gym for my training?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, you got to go through this person. I'm like, you pay me pennies. And I can't even use the open hours of the gym without going through crazy hoops to get it. So I'm starting to look at, like, let me stay at the lower level. Like you say, you're around kids, you're able to train some people or whatever, and then grow your own business without having this in the way.
Yeah, and it's a huge commitment, like, because you know how it is. Like, once you accept something, you're going to want to do a really good job.
Yes.
So, like, I'm always very hesitant to say yes to things and, like, start things.
Yeah.
Unless I know, like, fully, my heart's, like, fully in it. I really want to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a even though they give you a stipend for 3 months, it's a year-round gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're getting this is the thing about this, America. You're getting paid for 3 months, but you're working 12.
Yeah.
What world is that even feasible for you to live off of?
It's really kind of broken. Like,
Yeah.
it's something that, I mean, if you're looking at, like, the salary that the PE coach is getting just for showing up from 8 to 3,
Yeah.
I just don't understand why you can't give that same salary to the coach, like the basketball coach.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a good program and he's running everything, like, that's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job, 100%. I interviewed for a job and I said, well, the stipend is at like $3,000. So I was like, well, what if I fundraise and I bring in $100,000? What do I get of that? Mm-hmm. They said nothing.
Didn't that happen to Deion Sanders?
Did it?
I think so. Like, he was bringing in money to the program and they weren't giving it to athletic department.
I'm not shocked. Like, and I said, well, where does it go? Well, it goes to the program. Well, I'm the program.
Yeah.
And you're saying that, well, we're part of the school district and the school district allot this money. So that means $100,000 will be sitting there. I'm sure you're going to be siphoning it off to go on your little retreats or whatever. It's not that many shooting machines I can buy or whatever. So I was like, that, like you said, is broken. If I bring in $100,000, can I get 10% of that?
Yeah.
20, 15, like 5? Like, yeah. So it's interesting. So I'm with you where I'm leaning towards not doing the varsity or head coaching thing.
Yeah. I think a lot, especially now, people get so wrapped up in, like, job title and, you know, like, if you're talking to someone who's not in sports and you're just like, yeah, I'm coaching 9th grade basketball, they'll look at me like, oh, who's this guy? Yeah. And then, but, like, once you get over, like, the whole ego and all this, like, job title stuff,
yeah,
and you just think about, like, all right, am I doing what I like to do? Do I have time for my family? Like, I know I can see my parents every night and have dinner every Monday night.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome.
That's dope.
If you're traveling full time or living in South Dakota coaching basketball, like, you're missing out on all that.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you ever think about, so when El Camino was looking for a coach, a varsity coach, did you ever think about, like, maybe you go back to your alma mater and kind of do it for your school?
The stipend's just not. The money just doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense.
Versus, especially when you're at a private school, like, they have direct deposit set up. Like, it's just so much better.
So we both coach at a private school, and I can walk into the athletic director and say, hey, I need a raise, and they may say, okay, here's an extra $500 instantly. They go to the president. It's a day process or whatever. Yeah. You don't have to go to the school board and have this, and then it's a little different at a private school.
Yeah, I'll probably only, and I went to a public school, you know,
Yeah.
like, and I know public schools need the help,
They do.
but just for like valuing myself as a coach, my value is only a private school could afford it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Especially you strength and conditioning, especially with your resume now, you have something to bring to the table that they can actually sell as well too. Hey, we got this guy here, so come on to our school, and then they can actually sell that. So you mentioned the people you trained. You also trained Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah. Yep.
Gangsta Gibbs.
I was texting him this morning.
I'm a fan. Man, so his Pinata album was dope. Him getting with Madlib was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Undefeated.
I watched him when he was Jeezy and how miserable he was and how okay the music was or whatever, and then him going out and doing what he did now is super dope. How did you get with Freddie Gibbs?
Man, that was a freaking awesome story. Like, it was the off season. So, you know how I was just saying, you know, September, October, all the guys, like NFL starts, NBA starts. Gym's pretty relaxed in the morning.
Yeah.
And our boss Travell had told us, yo, we got a rapper coming in. Just be here at 9:00. Whoever wants to train him. And there was 3 trainers there. 2 of them left to go get coffee. I was the youngest guy there, so I was just waiting. And Fred walks in the door, and I was already a big fan of his.
Oh, you know who he was?
Yeah. I had all his stuff from high school on my orange iPod Nano. So like I was already a huge Fred fan.
Yes.
And Pinata had dropped in like 2014.
Yep.
So I was like I was rocking with Fred from that XXL freshman cover when it was him, J. Cole, Nipsey. Like that freshman class was crazy.
Yeah, that was Currency on that one? No, I think he was after that.
I think Currency might have been. I think J-Rock was.
Wiz Khalifa was on that cover. Yeah. Yes, that was a great. That might be one of the best freshman classes ever.
Yeah, and that's like those are all my favorite artists, like Nipsey, Currency, Fred, Dom Kennedy. Like that's the era of music I like grew up with. And so I had already known all this stuff, and we hit it off right away. He loves basketball, loves football. We just have a good time talking shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then the training was going so well. After only like a month and a half, he asked if I wanted to go on tour with him, and that was like where it really kind of took off.
You went on tour with him?
Yeah, we did 20 cities in 30 days.
Wow.
And
how wild was that?
It was so fun. And I was just graduating from college.
Are you single?
Yeah.
So
I had a girlfriend at that time.
Oh, okay.
I had a girlfriend at the time, but
that's why you broke up?
it was weird. Every time I wanted to cheat, she would like call me and I would just feel guilty, so I didn't do it. But no, it was a crazy experience going on basically a rap tour. We started in Detroit. We went to Gary, visited his mom, him at his mom's house, which is like, it was one of those eye-opening experiences because, you know, you read about like other places in the world and how bad it is.
Yes.
We have places in the U.S. that are just as bad, if not worse.
Oh, my God, yeah.
In terms of like dangerous. And so that was like a just good experience. And then we went basically Detroit, Toronto, New York, all the way down to Atlanta, all those cities, and then across all the way back up to Seattle. So
that's dope.
It was super fun.
That's dope. Yeah, Freddie's one of my favorites, man. Like when I saw the photos or whatever, I was like, oh, Gangsta Gibbs. Oh my God, this is dope. I was more excited about that than seeing Trae Young.
Dude, and it's so funny because that was probably like the first person I really spent a lot of time with outside of the gym and in terms of like client. And we got close from every night after the show and like after going out. You just hanging out, watching NBA TV. Yeah. And we're just watching highlights, talking about basketball. And that's how we really became tight. So you're on tour with him, so you're training him between shows or before shows. How'd that work? So the schedule is super fun. So we would get to the show around 5 or 6. He'll do the meet and greet where you just talk to fans, sign autographs. That'll always go for an hour. Then from about 7:30 to 8:30 workout in the green room, and so there would be a ton of people around, people drinking, having a good time in the green room, and we're just working out in the middle.
Really?
And yeah,
That's
like
wild.
20, like 15 girls and like the 5 dudes that we were with on tour, and like 20 people in the room, and Fred's getting a workout in, drinking tequila like mid-set. And
That sounds like a hip hop event for sure, man.
the most like hip hop training possible. And yeah, so we do that workout from usually 7:30 to 8:30, and then he'd just go right on stage from there, just still sweating, just shirt off, just ripped, and do the show, go to the club, go to the strip club, get home at usually 3 or 4 a.m. And Airbnb, you have to get out by 10 a.m. the next day.
Okay.
So we would stay in Airbnbs always like in the suburbs of every city. And so you usually get back 3 or 4, have to be up 9:45, get all your stuff, get in the van because got to be out by 10. And then we just drive to the next city.
That's wild. So you guys are in Airbnbs in the suburbs. How was those neighbors? Did you guys have any issues with the neighbors?
Man, if we stayed multiple nights in a spot like Atlanta, and they did the tour, shout out to Fred's manager Lambo. He set up the tour so nice because we had like 4 days in Atlanta,
Okay.
like 2 or 3 days in Vancouver, which is like super fun city.
Yes.
And so like all the good cities, we had more time to do stuff. And yeah, the neighbors probably didn't enjoy it.
Didn't enjoy these rappers and the entourage coming back at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds like so much fun, man. And like I said, I'm a fan of Freddie Gibbs, so like I was happy for him to be able to get with Madlib and do all that stuff, whatever, musically. And then, like I said, watching him with you, and that now every time I see him is, every time he pops on my feed, he got his shirt off, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna see a grown man with his shirt off every time, but it's a testament to you and the workouts. But it's like, dude, put your shirt on every once in a while, Freddie.
There's a direct correlate. Like when he's working out a lot, the shirt's off a
It's
bunch.
all the time. Like, dude, put your shirt on, man, every once in a while. I mean, I'm gonna have to unfollow him. Even though I like his music, I'm gonna have to unfollow him because I don't want to see a grown man with his shirt off in my timeline
all the time.
All the time.
No, and he has the craziest Instagram ever.
Yeah. Oh.
Ever.
Yeah.
Back when it was getting shut down a lot.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of tamed it down.
Yeah, he's dope. Has anybody ever told you look like Macklemore?
Oh yeah, all the time. Especially being in high school when he was real popular.
Oh, yeah.
that was my always go-to nickname.
You look just like him, dude.
And usually
and
if
the
I have
hair,
my hair
yes,
longer.
yeah. Oh my God, yeah. So when you was on that tour, did you ever get confused as Macklemore?
I've actually used that. It probably happened a couple times on the tour.
But you used it. How'd you?
I've used that a bunch of times. Like,
Come on, give me a story.
This is the best one. We used to visit my best friend's older brother at University of Arizona.
Okay.
Every spring break. So pretty much when I was in 10th grade, I was going to University of Arizona for spring break.
Yeah.
And just coming back with all the worst habits possible, And so I remember these the guys that were kind of like leaders of the frat basically loved that I looked like Macklemore so much that they just wanted to tell every single girl at the party. And so that was like 10th grade, like getting with college chicks just because they thought I was Macklemore's cousin.
That is.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look like somebody and you're young like that, you got to use it to your advantage. It's like a superpower, dude. You got to take advantage of it.
Totally.
I had nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Have you trained any other rappers?
No.
He's the only one.
Yeah, Fred's the only rapper I train.
That's dope. So this is a hoops and hip hop podcast. We talk hoops.
Yeah.
We talk a little hip hop now. So let's.
Well, I do have a guy for you because
Okay.
my boy Matt trains him, and he comes to Athletic Gains a lot. Hit Boy.
Oh, okay. Super producer.
Yeah.
Saved Nas's career.
Dude, those King's Disease albums,
Man.
amazing.
So I mean, you look around in my studio. I'm a hip hop connoisseur. I did a classic hip hop radio show for 10 years, so I've interviewed a lot of artists.
Dope.
So Nas is one of my favorite MCs, and I used to work on Melrose at the New Era hat store.
Oh,
And he would come in all the time, and I'm like, "Yo, what's up with this album premiere?" This is 2006 or something like that. I'm like, "Yo, we need an album," because he always had questionable production.
yeah.
He got with Hit Boy, and I'm like, "Yo, this dude revived his career to the point to where he's put out 6 albums in the last 2 years,
Yeah.
and they've all been good."
That's the craziest thing about him. Like, because growing up, I basically kind of missed the Nas like era of it being hip to listen to Nas.
Yeah.
And so, when you're always talking about the greats, you're always like, oh yeah, Nas is one of them.
You just say it by default, not because you listen to him, because it's what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 years, especially that King's Disease 2, the one with the orange cover, I just think that one was so good. There's just no skips.
Yeah. Like Hit Boy, one thing about Hit Boy, he needs to go down as one of the greatest hip hop producers of all time. Like he's propelled himself up, and I know hip hop, so I can sit and talk hip hop forever. He has taken something and recreated one of our legends.
Yeah.
And he creates music that's not a super like pigeonhole into one style. He can do his gangster pops. His pops is doing his thing.
Yeah.
And he can do Nas, and then he can do Freddie Gibbs, and he can do some other gangster rapper, and then some underground guy. He has no limits to his skill, and he's making hit records.
No, it's super impressive. And he even had like a rocky career where he had like a quick rise, weird middle, and now he's like rejuvenating his career. So
yep, he did so everybody Hit Boy's claim to fame, or when he got on, he did Niggas in Paris, Kanye West and Jay-Z off Watch the Throne. That was kind of what propelled him.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, meteoric rise. And then he did some stuff, but it wasn't as high as that, so he kind of fell off. And then he's doing it now.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And anytime you get the Drake line when he goes, I should probably sign a Hit Boy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
yes.
Then you're back. You're all the way
that solidifies you, right?
Yeah.
That solidifies you. So Freddie Gibbs, Hit Boy. So when you was in high school, what was you listening to?
Favorite artist. So I was in high school 2009 to 2013. Loved The Marathon by Nipsey. That was like my go-to. I'll take credit for being one of the first people in my friend group, probably the first person at the whole school to say, I think Meek Mill could have a good career. Because that was like, he was just coming out with a bunch of mixtapes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was listening to a ton of Nipsey, a ton of Dom Kennedy. Like if you're from Los Angeles, you're going to listen to
Dom's my guy. I love it. Yeah.
And
so, okay.
Yeah.
Pause that thought for a second. What do you think about the Dom Hit Boy joint album? Was you high on it? Was you low on it? Was you be honest.
I haven't really liked a lot of the stuff Dom's had, like, in the last 5-10 years.
Okay.
Compared to, like, the older stuff, it was just so much better.
Yeah.
But there's a couple good songs on there.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, like, I like Corsa. That's a good song. Or, like, Monte Carlo. That's a good one. But, yeah, I just think, I think it's rare for guys to be able to do this at a high level for 10 plus years.
I mean, Drake is a anomaly. It's tough.
And I don't even like his latest stuff.
No, it's not as good as before, but he's still
got the attention.
Yes, exactly. So you was listening to Nipsey, Dom,
a lot of Currency.
Oh, that's my guy as well too. So
and a lot of Wiz Khalifa. That was like Wiz was on top.
I mean, he's in the same lane as Currency. It was kind of in the same lane.
Yeah.
So do you still listen to Currency?
Yeah, Currency's got so much stuff.
He's putting out so much music, dude. I'm like, how does he keep up? Like,
I'll take like breaks and then go back to it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's one of those things that every time I look into my Spotify, I'm like, oh, Currency got a new one. And I listen to it for a week or whatever, and then I'll hop on Larry June, and then I'm like, oh, Currency got a new one. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I haven't been to one of his shows in a long time, but I'm like, what is he performing? Because he has so much music. How do you pick a set list?
Yeah. No, it doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't.
Like, yeah, so many songs. Who are you listening to the most right now?
Right now, of course, classic is still kind of in my. But as far as new guys, I love Larry June.
Nice.
Larry June is like,
he's got the sound.
He is, and I love Dom, but Larry June is what Dom was doing, like you said, when he was in his heyday, and he kind of took it and ran with it and kind of
totally
and ran. And I like, of course, Nas, King Disease. I mean, the whole Hit Boy Nas collaboration is super dope. I'm a big Griselda Records fan, so Benny the Butcher, Conway, those guys. So I'm kind of in that lane. Anything that Alchemist does, anything that Hit Boy does, I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Anything that Harry Fraud is on.
Yep.
Harry Fraud is the kind of go-to producer for the Currencies and all those guys.
Yeah, and if it's like a Harry Fraud or Alchemist, you're like, all right, this is the vibe I'm gonna get.
Exactly. That's the energy. So that's kind of what I'm on right now. And like I said, of course I throw the classics in there. What is the vibe like in your gym? Like when I go to athletic games, what is the gym playing?
If I'm on the aux court and we're in the gym, 95% Jay-Z.
Okay.
Because it's just like boss music. It just makes you feel like a boss.
Yep.
Makes you want to be a boss. It's gonna be a lot of Jay-Z. And then if we got young guys, like I have 2 separate playlists. Like I'll have a playlist if someone's older than 25 and then an under 25. So the older 25, I'll do all my favorites, and then the younger 25, you just got to give these kids want all the new artists, because I feel like everyone wants to discover someone. So that's why I feel like kids always want to just find these new artists. I'd say my favorite of the young guys, probably Babyface Ray. I like him. It's funny because I like a lot of the drill rappers. I like the grimy rappers that are like, I'm like, I shouldn't be liking, I shouldn't be repeating Spin the Block, but it sounds so dope. It'll be like, I know this isn't a great song, but I can still like it.
So we're talking about music. And then, so one of the dads, and I train his son, and I've been training his son since he's 11. Now he's 16 or whatever. And we was talking, and his dad's my age, and we're talking about how the kids nowadays don't have any rhythm. And basketball's a rhythm. And they play basketball off beat.
They do.
And I was like, and he says, well, the music they listen to is off beat. And I said, damn. A light bulb moment came. I'm like, yo, that's what it is, because they're listening to this music that's off beat. And I'm like, shit, you're right.
You don't have like any feel, any flow.
No.
So my dad's a musician.
Okay.
Been playing the bass since he was like 15 years old. Loves music. I remember I wanted a basketball hoop in the driveway, and my dad basically was telling me, until you can dribble for 5 minutes straight without losing the ball and do all these different moves, I'm not going to set up a basketball hoop. And so when I would do my dribbling, he would put on a bunch of R&B and funk and just old school shit. And I would have to do all my dribbling to the rhythm. Like he'd be like, listen to the bass and dribble to this bass. And I've actually even brought that up with guys when I'm at Buckley. I'm like, yo, you guys have no rhythm.
Zero rhythm.
And
basketball, I said, watch Kyrie Irving in slow motion. It's like a symphony, dude. The way he moves around, it's like, you guys are so irky jerky that your game comes off as that. It's the music listen to.
And even like the TikTok dances aren't like rhythmic dances.
No, they're choppy.
Stuff with the hands. And like you see, if you told a bunch of 13-year-olds to dance, it's more hand movements than legs.
There's no rhythm at all to it. So
it's a problem.
So we need to. So actually, we need to start, implementing that they listen to like music and go to like.
I think they get bored with rhythm and melodies, though.
Because of the ADHD.
They need like they need something different. They
need something to shock the system. So it's like beep beep beep.
They like
that. So they need something that shock the system by being offbeat.
They're just, because you'll play them stuff with rhythm and they'll be like, this is boring. You're like, no, the beat's just looping, but the guy's like spinning bars right now. Are you listening? And
his voice is like an instrument too, so he's riding the beat. These kids are not riding the beat at all.
No.
Like they're just rapping over the top of the beat, and the beat just happens to be in the background.
It's like a conflict.
It's a conflict. Yeah.
And so it's like, if you're taught the wrong way, you're not gonna know what the right way is.
No, you're not. You're not. And the tough thing about it, when you try to teach them the right way, they know it all.
Oh man, Yeah.
They know it all. So it's like you can't even just. So it's always a breath of fresh air when a kid says that wants to learn and actually receptive to what's going on.
Yeah.
It's so dope.
I love when you play some old school stuff and then a kid will text you later this in the day and send you a different song. Like this just happened. One of my boys sent me this Jay-Z verse on that Kanye song on Late Registration. And he goes, man, you've heard this verse? And I was like, yeah, dude, yeah.
I teach a hip hop history class at Crespi.
Dope.
So we talk about lyrics and kind of the environment they come from, some of the systemic things as well too. But I talk lyrics, and one of the kids that was in my class, I want to say 3. So it's seniors and juniors in my class. So 3 years ago when I first taught it. The young man is now at NYU, and he's like, man, Nas is my favorite artist now because you put me onto it.
That's dope.
And he's in NYU, so he's in her birthplace. He's like, yo, man, like I'm like, you open my eyes up to so many good MCs now because of that or whatever. And he would have never heard of that if we didn't push it on him for the class or whatever. So it's dope to see when you see the light bulb goes off and these young men discover something like that. You know,
you're like, all right, you're getting a little bit of taste. Like, this is good.
Yes. So that's dope, man. So what's the future like for you in your business, and then what does 10 years look like with you?
Biggest thing I'm working on right now is trying to do these training retreats. Kind of got the idea. I was in Hawaii with my parents, and I was just doing my usual workout routine in the morning, and then I was swimming in the ocean with my dad, and then my sister is also a yoga instructor, so we're doing yoga in the afternoon. I'm doing the sightseeing during the day, and my whole family eats really clean. My mom's a chef, so going through that week, and if I go on vacation with my parents, which isn't that often, but if I do, I'll put my phone in the cupboard and just not go on my phone for like 5-6 days.
Yeah,
it's the best mental reset ever. And I actually want us to start doing that with my clients, and then take that and market it to the regular audience, because I think with everything going towards technology right now, I just kind of want to zag and just get away from all that. So.
I mean, they have those yoga retreats where people pay lots of money to go to like the Bahamas and do that, and like you said, same thing. So why not do it in a sports performance situation or something like that? That'd be dope.
Yeah.
What else we got down the line?
Doing the retreats, just kind of
still coaching. So 10 years from now, you'll still be coaching.
Yeah, still coaching. Hopefully, kind of doing more consulting too with schools and teams, and getting guys hired and making sure schools hire the right guys, and kind of helping them with that process. Because like I explained to the people at Buckley, they were asking who I think we should hire for a strength coach to go along with me.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling them, just bring in one of my old interns, because he'll know the program. He's professional. He'll know all the stuff.
So when you're not there, it's seamless.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And that kind of really gave me the light bulb to like, I can do that with other schools and other schools, other programs, like, Todd Wilson at Core Prep.
Yeah.
We put all their trainers in place.
Yeah.
So like, that's a thing. I want to keep expanding. And
is that through athletic games, or that's you?
It's kind of a joint thing, because there was 2 guys at Heritage, Kyle Freelow, Justin Rochelin, a couple years ago, and they trained with us for a summer, and the coach hired us to do the whole varsity team.
Yeah.
And then we got hired to do Core Prep, so we were doing Heritage Christian and Core Prep, strength and conditioning. And I started it the first couple months, and then I put someone in place, start the new school, put someone in place. And that's been like kind of a recipe that's worked.
Yeah.
And so developed like a online certification. So when guys come to me, they can go through the whole curriculum. And just like 10 years from now, just consulting, doing the retreats, and still training every day. Like I tell people all the time, even if I had $10 million in the bank right now, I'd still want to spend 3 to 5 hours a day training.
That means you love it.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. So
let everybody know. We get out of here right now. Let everybody know where we can find you, social media, websites, company, all the rest of that good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. So just James on Instagram. Just type in J with a bunch of A's. It'll pop right up. and working with Athletic Gains. The retreat stuff's going to be coming soon. And that's everything.
That's dope. Well, James, I appreciate you coming in. I know we've been talking about this for a minute, so I appreciate you coming in. And it was fun. I didn't know you had so much hip hop in you, so that's kind of dope or whatever. So thank you for coming, man. This has been the Hoops and Hip Hop Podcast with Coach Carter on the White Label Radio Network. All right. Peace.